Hey, thanks for stopping by today. Happy day after Fastnacht Day. I hope that you got some, and if you did, I hope you enjoyed them. I want to continue our vignettes, if you will, on you have permission. Sometimes I think we're waiting for somebody to give us permission, like the permission to breathe. We don't have to be in perpetual motion. We can stop, we can slow down, we can surrender some time so that we can hear God and let Him love us. What I thought I might do today is talk about permission to come home. Now, maybe you don't feel like you're very far from home. Maybe your home is very comfortable, but are you at home with God? I think that's also part of what it means to breathe, is that being at home with God. And sometimes we're not always very comfortable talking about that. It sounds a little too familiar. And I think when Jesus tells the parable of what we call the parable of the prodigal son, Jesus is telling us something really about the generous love of the Father, the extravagant love of the Father that continues to welcome us home into His presence. And so I just want to remind us that we're always welcome in God's home. Um, you know the parable, two sons left home. Well, we know about the younger son. He left home. He took all the wealth that he had accumulated from his father's inheritance, and he goes off to a far country and he squanders it all. But the older son also left home. He just happened to go just not as far away. He went out into the fields and he worked and he worked and he worked. Um, there was a son who was far away and there was a son who was close by, but neither of them were really at home. And it's the son who was farthest away who, when he comes home, gets the celebration of the father because the father is so glad to see him. But the son who was closest to home, but still not at home, is the one that won't join the party, won't get excited. And the father has to go out to him and say, "Why don't you come into the party? Your brother is here." And he says, "No, your son came home and you're just like pampering him and giving him everything. I don't understand you." Well, that is the nature of God's love. He says, "Hey, that which was lost is found, that which was dead is alive." We have to celebrate. That's what happens when somebody recognizes that they can come home and they can be forgiven and be received into God's love. That's reason to celebrate. But when Jesus told this to the Pharisees, he was hoping to get their attention so that they would realize that they also needed the love of the Father. They weren't far away like the tax collectors or the sinners, but they weren't any closer to home either because they couldn't sit and enjoy the Father's love. So I want us to take a few moments and think, in what ways am I not at home with God? And, uh, and receive this permission to come home, no matter where you are. No matter what may be keeping you from the Father, have permission to come home. Take this permission, and when you do, enjoy His love when you get there. He's planning a big celebration, and I hope that you and I will look and see, yeah, we're welcome at home. We have permission to come home.